Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, and it's football chat all the way on STV. Delighted to have your company. Our main talking points today: Scott Brown says he has no intention of quitting international football. Mark Warburton says it's one game at a time for Rangers in the race for the championship, and we'll also look ahead to the small matter of a Renfrewshire derby tomorrow, among other things. In the company of Alan Ruff and myself, Peter Martin, we have in the boot room Hugh MacDonald of the Herald. I can't think of a better man to have to talk about football with us here this evening. Hugh, delighted that you are alongside us. Scott Brown, no intention of quitting international football, and I think that's good for Gordon Strachan to hear.
Yeah, and it's good for all of us here. And I've always wondered when this came in, players declaring that they were retiring from international football. So it was very presumptuous and kind of like arrogant, you know, that players do that. I'm not a great admirer of that. It's a good on him. He wants to continue playing, and that, yeah, I think he'll be an important part of Gordon's squad. I
like that point that he's just brought up there, Ruffy, because when I hear a footballer saying they're giving up international football, it just makes me really angry. I think, no, the time to give up is when they decide not to pick you.
Yes, you're correct. I would have been astounded if he'd done it, you know, particularly when he's sitting in 49 caps. You know, you can do everything in the game, earn as much money as you like, but at the end of it, all you've got is your records. And to get into the Hall of Fame, which you will do, is a fantastic achievement, and it would have been a shame. I was really actually angry when Jim Leighton stopped at 92. I thought Jim Leighton could have been on to get 100, which would have been an absolutely incredible feat, but I could never get my head around why he stopped.
Yeah. You've not retired yet either. You haven't officially retired yet, have you?
Not officially retired for the Hall of Fame. I've got my 53, so I don't think I'll get. I don't think there's much chance for me getting 54. So
I get Ruffy. You just never know these days. And of course, Scott's got a book out as well, which had me astounded, because you know, you have to follow that up with TV and radio appearances, and boy, I can't see that happening.
Well, today's his big day. He's telling us all about it today. His book, I think it's now part of the parcel, isn't it? You know, for the footballers, get the book out as well. So, one of the guys I thought was be most unlikely to bring out a big blockbuster book is Mr. Brown, but here we go.
To be fair to him, though, I think, you know, in a period of just, you know, settling in at Celtic to becoming a mainstay and becoming a vital player, I think the biggest problem Scott Brown has had over the years, Ruffy, is maybe people are looking for much more of him because of the lack of quality elsewhere.
Yeah, I think he went through that time at Celtic when Celtic were not playing well and were going through that sort of a time when they didn't have big players. He was the main player. You're perfectly right. He was trying to do everything, taking the ball off the goalkeeper, midfield, up front, making runs into corners. He was doing everything but scoring goals, but now he has got other players run about him who take the pressure off him.
I think his time at Celtic, when it eventually ends, Hugh, will be looked back on fondly by Celtic fans.
I think so. I think he's one of these players that falls into the category of great fans' favourite. You know, the celebration with Hadji Diouf, the you know, driving on at midfield, the big tackles, the Bruni chants. For me, Celtic great, very much lacking in terms of, you know, technical ability. I mean, he's not the guy who's going to give you the killer pass. He's not got the, you know, he's not the guy that's going to give you a goal from midfield, for example. But certainly in terms of inspiration, effort and commitment, can't be faulted.
It'd be interesting in the book, you know, when you're looking through the pictures, which page the kebab photograph will be in. You know,
I think that's the cover. Can I wipe your hands on it?
Hold on. Let's not throw the first kebab. Well, let's not have you take the moral high ground on behaviour.
I haven't been caught in a corner with a kebab. I've been caught a few places.
Due to the fact there wasn't social media in your day, Rob. So,
maybe you've got a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you believe he's trying to cane Scott Brown when you think about what you guys get up to?
Kettle on the phone.
Absolutely. Okay, from Scott Brown we move to, of course, just on that point, just one last point on Scott Brown. He says, he believes that they can win the 2 Europa League games. Is that just your captain trying to inspire?
Aye, that's great footballer optimism. We can win the 2 games. We've not won 3 before. So but he's got to say that, hasn't he?
Okay, absolutely. That's what a captain does. It gives you that belief even when you can't back it up. But nevertheless, we move from Scott Brown on to Mark Warburton, because he's been speaking today, and of course the ding-dong battle between Rangers and Hibs is absolutely fantastic. If it's not the managers, it's the players indulging in a bit of tit-for-tat mind games. Mark Warburton today said it doesn't matter what goes on, it's one game at a time for Rangers.
We started very strongly, other teams didn't start as strong as Rangers, and people are saying that Rangers are faltering. We're not faltering. Other teams are closing the gap because they're winning games of football, but all we can do now is put our head down, focus on Rangers and keep winning games. That's what we have to do, and if we make mistakes, it's not worthwhile. Someone asked me about the game on the 28th of December. That's irrelevant. If you lose 2 or 3 games in the meantime, it doesn't matter. Our only focus has to be one game at a time, so everything is geared towards Saturday, Livingston, good performance, and move on from there.
No surprise there, Ruffy. He's taking the old Lena Martell line on this one.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. But I'm not saying there's a lot of pressure on them now, but he'll be saying to himself, this gap could have been 11. It's only 2 now, and getting away from home, I just don't think there's enough teams in the league that are capable of taking enough points off for Rangers, so I think Hibs will have to do it themselves. I think Falkirk at home will have a chance, but I think Rangers will go through the whole season at home undefeated. I think the only place that they will lose points will be away from home.
I think it's going to be that Hibs might need a hand from elsewhere, and as Alan says, I find that tough to think where that hand's going to come.
Yeah, is that because you think Rangers are that good, or there's not enough strong teams in the league?
I think it would be a decent championship without. I think Rangers and Hibs are just not championship teams. I think they're Premiership teams playing in the championship. In terms of budget and skill within the team, you can see that. I mean the Hibs, without even talking about Rangers, the Hibs midfield and McGinn etc., and handling up front, Henderson, McGeoch and McGinn. McGinn's just it's absolutely superb at the moment. So, I think they're really good teams. I think to bridge that gap, Rangers are going to have to drop points, and if they're going to drop points, they could drop them away from home. Who knows? But I think it's going to be tough for Hibs to catch them.
Yeah, and I noticed a rather interesting piece in one of the tabloids today. A nice bit of PR for Mark Warburton.
Yeah, very interesting piece. As you know, Peter, what the great thing for being inside the game is we don't look at the piece at first, we look at who's written it, and how did they get this and that? How did they get an exclusive interview with Mark Warburton when I can't? And the piece is written by an English journalist, which suggests to me very strongly that it's going in the English edition, so that Mark Warburton is certainly keeping his English PR up at the moment. Which is always a smart move in the recruitment market, shall we say? Yeah,
you're an old cynic.
Yes.
We just that's the thing about it, Robbie. You kind of look at these stories, and there's always an angle in behind it. But there's been suggestions of Fulham, Queen's Park Rangers. Maybe a little nip to see if he was interested. But the Rangers fans won't be interested in that. They'll just be hoping that he's building a structure for them. How long he's got to build that structure, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think they'd be disappointed. He'll be really enjoying it. Coming to a club like Rangers and everything that goes with it, the support and everything. He'll think it's fantastic to be there. But we're all now led to believe that Rangers and Celtic aren't the prime jobs they used to be. If you're a top class manager, you want to be down in England, and that's where he'll end up.
Yeah, and of course, were you surprised that Kenny Miller got a year's extension?
No, because I think not form-wise he's been okay, but I think he's a very important player to have in the team. And again, what the punters sometimes don't realise that sometimes we see behind the scenes, and he is. I've had my doubts about him at times as a striker, and I've written that, but I've no doubts about him as a personality or a brain. I think he's a coach in the making, a good coach in the making.
Well, funny you should say that, because that's exactly what the Rangers boss Mark Warburton said.
Great game knowledge, subject knowledge. He's obviously played at the very highest level. He has good ideas about the game. He has firm views about the game, but he embraces new ideas as well. So he's very receptive. to different concepts. So I've got no doubt that Kenny can go on to be an outstanding coach, manager, whatever he chooses to do.
If I'm a fan of Scott Brown and what he does in the midfield, I'm certainly a fan of Kenny Miller as well. He never leaves anything in the dressing room, Ruffy.
No, mate, as Hugh said there, he's the kind of guy you want in the dressing room. He's got bags of experience, and he'll still do you a turn if you really, really need him. He'll come on and put in a shift and score goals as well, and he's the kind of player you want about the place.
Yep, and he says he's going to play, he'd love to play and go back to the Premiership and win the title. So clearly he's got ambitions for that for next season, although he does say he wants to play until he's 40.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'd signed an extra year, I'd be saying that as well.
Yeah. Okay, on that, I'll hang on and wait for that line then when it's delivered. Lots more to talk about in the company of Hugh MacDonald on Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, Hugh MacDonald of the Herald here with us in the studio, and lots more to talk about. Of course, we always love a derby, and a Renfrewshire one at that, Hugh.
And a very intriguing and interesting one as well. I would say that it's we're not going anywhere near must-wins at the moment, but I think St Mirren and Ian Murray could be doing a wee fill-up at the moment, and yeah, a big game for them.
Yep, and Morton, again, I'm not surprised because I've got great regard for Jim Duffy as a manager, Ruffy. I just think he's working wonders there on a fraction of the budget of others.
Yeah, he is, and we had him on the show in the early part, and he would just want to stabilise himself in the division. You know, he knows that other teams in the division have got a much, much bigger budget than him, but I think they'll be pleasantly surprised at where they are just now, and winning very comfortably. And I think St Mirren have got a bit of a game in their hand.
Yep. With that in mind, let's not shilly-shally, as one former journalist used to say, and a good one at that. Give us your prediction.
I think Morton will win. Yeah, I think the momentum's with them. I think St Mirren, there's still a bit of sort of doubt about how they're going forward. I think Ian Murray is a good manager, and he'll get there. But I think it's going to take time before they get a good shape and a good sort of purpose about them. And I think there's a good chance for Morton.
I think it'll be a tight game, but I definitely think that St Mirren will win this one. Just
because you knew I was going to butt in there, didn't you?
No, well, I was going to sit in the fence.
You're the king of the figures. Always, when I ask him for an opinion, there's always 4 sentences of amazing, and then eventually you get to an opinion that I force out of you.
No, I think
St Mirren to win.
St Mirren to win, yeah.
Yep. So the Alec Miller influence really kicking in then.
Oh, I'm sure it will have some effect.
If you mention Alec Miller's name, he starts to twitch because you let him go at Hibs, and he's never forgiven him.
Everybody has an error of judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I'll tell you the other thing, and we talk about football and much maligned, some of the critics of our game, but at Tynecastle, it's the 8th sellout they're heading for. It is absolutely fantastic. I mean, they just can't get enough of them there at Tynecastle, the Hearts fans.
Yeah, and the whole business model has taken off. Big crowds, passionate crowds, a lot of good young players as well, been blooded early, now showing their promise. I think there's 3 or 4 that really could go on. I've watched them a couple of times live this season. Guys like Callum Patterson, who's never going to win the Messi award for technique. Yeah, it's certainly a good, strong.
Scored some goal last week.
Yeah, and it's a good, strong player that can play anywhere across the back 4 and even in midfield. There's a 3 or 4 of them I really rate there.
Well, I'll throw one at you. Jordan McGee, 4 clean sheets in 5 games since he's been back.
Yep, and he's improved. He's the other name I was going to mention. He's improved immensely defensively. He's really been switched on. He's obviously taken coaching really well. But Sam Nicholson, I think, is further forward as a smashing player as well. I mean, I think he's got the ability just to one little touch, and he can put guys clear on goal.
Yeah.
I think there's a real substantial kind of talent at the Tynecastle actually.
I like Nicholson, Ruffy, because when he gets the ball, his immediate thought is forward.
Yeah, as you said, there's a lot of them like that, you know, and particularly at home, you know, they like going forward. They've got individualism and they work as a team as well, and they're scoring goals. And with 16,000 behind you and a tremendous atmosphere at Tynecastle, you can see why they're looking forward to every game with confidence.
Yep, they take on Dundee at the weekend at Tynecastle, and you can join us on Peter and Ruffy's Saturday football show. We're on at 2 o'clock. Hopefully you can join not only myself and Alan Ruff, but Gordon Smith and Frank McAvenny will have reporters at the key games across Premiership, Championship, keep you up to date with League 1, League 2 and look to the top flight in England as well. With that in mind, Ruffy, I'm looking at another story that emerged. Partick Thistle General Manager Ian Maxwell says it's time that the Jags started looking and making an impression in the top half of the league. They don't have any debt now. If they're going to make an impression in the top half of the Premiership, that involves surely investment.
It certainly does. I mean, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I know the board work tirelessly for every avenue to bring money in. But I think Alan Archibald has absolutely worked wonders with the budget that he's got. You know, you can see he's got to identify players to come in, and for me, it's the goal scoring position. You know, if you could definitely get a goal scorer, they play good football. All they need to do is win games or see off games when they're winning 1-0. See it off, take the 3 points, and they would climb up the league. That's been the main problem, not being able to win games.
Yep, I think I watched them against Hearts at Firhill. In the first half, they played really well, couldn't score a goal and ended up being well beaten. Now, it's all ifs and buts and maybes, but if they score a goal in the first half when they should and when they're on top, it changes everything. And that's where the quality comes in, that's where you need that extra wee bit of money. They've done it with getting loan strikers in. Now and then, Chris Doolan has wee bright patches and all that, but you've got to have a striker that you can back to the hilt, you know, and they don't quite have that.
Yeah, there was a wee story about a player possibly coming back to Scottish football today, Ruffy, and you know, my eyes lit up when the name Alexei Eremenko was mentioned. Dundee United maybe taking a sniff at him, Mixu thinking about somebody that can unlock defences, you know, and as you know, I love a lazy midfielder who picks the odd 1 or 2 great passes.
Yeah, well, he's obviously had a look at the team now and he's looked at the players he's got. Maybe he's just going to change the whole structure of the way the team's playing, and I think you have to do that if you're going to go for somebody like Eremenko. You've got to have workers round about him. They certainly have got that with Rankin in there, and he is a joy to watch, and if he can manage to get him, and as we've seen him sometimes, you know, when he's fit, but when he's not, he looks like you on the park.
Scathing, by the way. Scathing.
With the same ability, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm just saying looks.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, my wife will be on the programme tomorrow to have a word with him. As far as the other little bit of news, is it a real bonus Mark Reynolds coming back for Aberdeen to you?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a couple of good passes away from being an international player. I mean, I just think his distribution isn't great, but his pace is very good. He's got good awareness in defence, and as I say, if he gets into trouble, he's got the legs to get him out. It's just working on that distribution. But I think he's been a great signing for Aberdeen.
Yep, I've liked him all along, and there was a time when we all thought he was going to be the Scottish centre half for years to come, but unfortunately for him, he's been picking up injuries here and there. I mean, if he was to get an extended run, if we look at the Scotland team, it's somebody we desperately need. And as you said, he's got the pace to play international football.
Yep, and we all like to keep our eye on Scottish managers down south that are doing well. There's a wee suggestion that Steve Clarke could be on his way to Fulham. Yeah,
I noticed that somebody said, you know, this element there might be a sideways move. I don't think so. I think Fulham's very much a bigger club than Reading, and I think it's a very much a bigger club in terms of aspiration and in terms of finance. Fulham very see themselves, rightly or wrongly, they see themselves as a top division club, and they've got the money behind them, the owners behind them, that they would back them and get them back up there. I think it'd be a good move for Stevie. And
because the Star Wars movie is coming out, Hugh, always like to you know, ask our own Obi-Wan Kenobi and yourself, that you've been over the course seen a lot of games. Ruffy's seen a good few as well. I'm going to give you the threesome that's that you would ideally choose for El Clasico. Who's the best threesome of the Barca? I read it in the paper this morning. I thought, Suarez, Neymar or Messi, Ronaldinho, Eto'o or Messi, Thierry Henry, Eto'o or Messi, or Villa, Messi and Pedro. Which one would you go for?
Just to pick any three.
Three that you think has been the best of the trios that have.
Oh,
it's a hard one, isn't it?
That's a difficult one, that. Anybody with Messi in it, I would think.
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't have huge arguments with anybody as long as you pick Messi.
Yeah, well, I gave you 4 options with a minute. Do you think this one's got a claim to the best?
Right, what was the first one?
Well, the threesome, Neymar, Suarez and Messi, is 141 goals in 170
You're probably hard to beat that. You're probably hard to beat that. I mean, individually. I mean, none of them work as hard as Eto'o, and none of them is maybe as smart running as but they're 3 top-notch players.
Okay, then Messi's back. Who's winning El Clasico?
I think Barcelona will win it because I've been a bit disappointed in Benitez's Real.
Yep.
I'm going to go for Barcelona as well.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that there's no smoke without fire, and the Ronaldo stories of him moving just won't go away.
No, and he's not doing very much to deny them either. And PSG are lucking, shall we say?
Yeah, absolutely. See, you get it all here. You get Scottish, English, Hugh throws in a wee bit of the Spanish football as well. You can't ask for any more than that, can you? Great to have Hugh MacDonald on the programme. Thoroughly enjoyed his company. If you get a chance, join us tomorrow on Peter and Ruffy's football show. Alec Ray, the former Rangers midfielder, will be our guest. From Ruffy and myself, Peter Martin, thanks for watching.